So we're back with our final installment of a beautiful conversation with Sue Patton Thoele. I know I'm pronouncing it correctly, Thoele. Oh, and so when I found your work in the '90s, Sue, yes, The Courage to Be Yourself, which was that amazing book, and I still have it, and I still go back to it when I have especially little vestiges of codependency arise. That was one of the original reasons I found it, but also because I was moving into an idea of what does it mean to have self-acceptance and courage and a feminine approach to my inner landscape that could heal some of the old wounds, which very truthfully, some of that did come from the religious upbringing of my childhood. So at the same time I found your book, for example, I also found Patricia Lynn Riley's book, A God Who Looks Like Me.
Like me, yeah. Uh-huh.
is an amazing book. And so I started on this track of, so who or what is God, if that's the word I'm going to use, to me from a feminine perspective and maybe through a feminine lens. So I want to throw that out to our conversation about, so some of us might be in need of permission to explore our notions of the divine, of the sacred. Those that embrace the feminine instead of diminish it, that empower the feminine, and what a healing path that can be. And I know you have some experience with that too. So maybe you could say a few things about our notions of God, the divine, the holy, and how we might make those be a path to deeper understanding of the feminine within us uniquely, because we're all going to have different views and images.
Well, there are a lot of writings, again, about really early times when the feminine was deified. And I found those really fascinating and eye-opening. And because, I am a product of the patriarchy completely. I was born and raised in Independence, Missouri, which is an oxymoron, for goodness sakes. And I was raised a Methodist, and I had a good experience. It was a God is dude experience, but it was fun, and I loved Sunday school, and I think I always loved Jesus. I prefer calling him Yeshua now, or Jeshua, or however you want to pronounce it, the Aramaic term, just because there's a little bit of stuff on the Jesus word, but to me, in taking from my background, and then and studying him, or just being kind of in love with him in a way, I feel very much like a brother-sister relationship. And he really, to me, personified the sacred feminine on the cross. Now, whether that's literally true or not, I don't care. It's our story. By saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is a sacred feminine expression of acceptance and compassion and love and embracing. Yeah. And he really, in many other ways too, because as we come to find out, he had a lot of women disciples and so forth. He liked women. He valued their opinions. So to me, Jesus, Yeshua, was a very balanced person. Given the time, he needed to come in a masculine body.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first I guess, I just, the first spiritual being that appeared to me was feminine. The first, the only. I mean, I see others, but they don't just appear. And she, and I've told you this story, but she just popped in the dentist's office. I don't like the dentist, and I was afraid, and I always ask for angels, and I had this everything in my mouth, and he's trying to distract me. The dentist is, by talking about musical duos or people who work together, and he was doing like Hammerstein and whatever the other one was, and I was thinking of Kukaflan and Ollie. I don't know where that came from, and right up here, Jan pops this beautiful redheaded face, and she is just chuckling, and I said, the nurse was holding my hand because that's the kind of dentist person I am. And I said, I see an angel. All these things in my mouth. And they thought I was nuts, but that's okay. And so she just adored me. And she thought I was so funny. And it was just the most, it just overwhelmed me, the feeling of this love that just poured out on me. And I named her Sam because she seemed really sweet and mischievous. But the love was the modeling for the love I try to do for myself.
Yeah.
Just.
And so it's important for us to have images too, to have language, to have relationship with that which really nourishes, right? That really accepts and wholeheartedly loves.
And some people don't image. So sometimes they just know or feel. So we do it in the way that we do it. I happen to be very visual, so that works for me. But the feeling is always what we need to go back to.
Okay.
Because the feeling, even if it hadn't been a visual, the feeling was that one that you have probably towards your grandbaby. I mean, he could be crying and you would look at him with this incredible, awed compassion and love and acceptance and protection. There's nothing you wouldn't do for him. This is what we need to have for ourselves. And then we're free enough to do whatever the world calls on us to do, and strong enough. We are.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. And you said you wanted to add a little bit about living gently, which of course is that's your trademark, your sign off, the juice.
Mantra.
Yeah, your mantra. Yeah,
Yep,
is to live gently with yourself.
And I don't know where that came from. A long, long time ago, I just wrote down, live gently with yourself and others. I'm sure I was talking to myself at the time. And I went, wow, if only, it certainly came out of a desire for, not a completion of. And it's 11:11 on my clock. That's angel time in my way of looking at it. So that's what I think I'm really so much better at. Living gently with myself and others. And the more we can do it with ourselves, the easier it is to do it with others.
Yeah. And so if we tie it into strength, to do that, what you just said, is an act of courage and an act of strength. It's not about being weak. It's not about being soft and all mushy gushy and passive.
Oh, no. It takes a lot of strength to be gentle.
Yeah.
A lot of strength and a lot of self-compassion. You
And
know
so,
that. You teach
yes,
that.
I do. And it's been a long journey. It's been, well, for me, that kind of awakening to how I could be with myself in a more gentle, compassionate, strength-filled way, really didn't start until, 25 years ago. You've been on the path longer than that and leading the way longer than that for many of us. So, and as you are in this meaningful decade of 70s in your life, right?
As I'm creeping out of it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And
very
so
close to the end of it.
how does it feel different? How does it feel different than when you first um, began to understand living gently? And how is it different now in you?
I have embodied it.
Yeah.
I just wished for it earlier.
Ah.
Not 100% of the time,
Yeah.
but I'd say 93.7.
Yeah. So there's hope for all of us.
Well, yeah, I would not say that I started out gentle at all toward myself. No, not at all. So, and you know what? One of the best gentle things we can do is to know that it's all a process. I am literally old. I know that. I love it, actually. It's very freeing to me. But we do move forward with intention. And we do gather up this softening and strengthening. It's kind of like the strengthening and the softening are this beautiful ebb and flow of balance. They're always there. Sometimes one of them's more in view, but they're there. And they help each other be present.
Mm. I love that. And I think that's a perfect thing to hold in our hearts as we end our conversation.
Thank you, Jan.
Because
Thank you so much.
it is a process, and you embody that for us, and you show us that we can do it, and that it's not just okay, but it's what needs to happen.
We personally need it, but our world is in desperate need of it.
Yeah. You said that. You said we are at a crisis point.
We are.
And so we need to do this for ourselves and for others. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes, it was fun, and you are just such an inspiration to all of us. So, and I hope everyone will pick up the book, because I've suggested it to a lot of people, and the women who are reading it are treasuring it. They read one page a day, and they let the messages sink in, and it is nourishing them and changing them as it is me. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
And many blessings as you go forward with light and love.
I'm having fun. Yeah.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.